As you know, Minister, Section 34 of the Wildlife Act 1976 says that an individual coursing club may hold no more than one trial session, but that in exceptional circumstances may apply to hold a second day's trial. Now, what are those circumstances? I know in February, Clonmel Coursing Club was approved to hold a second day's trial, and what were the exceptional circumstances pertaining to that? As you know, I've been asking a series of questions about strengthening the National Parks and Wildlife Service over the last year or so, and in particular the monitoring of coursing trials.
Minister.
In October, thank you, Deputy Bloom, for your question. In October 2017, my department issued a revised licence in relation to coursing under Section 34 of the Wildlife Act 1976, as amended to the Irish Coursing Club, on behalf of its affiliated clubs, which included new and revised conditions relating to the reporting of coursing trials. And one such condition stipulates that an individual coursing club may hold no more than one trial session, but that in exceptional circumstances the Irish Coursing Club may apply to hold a second day's trial. And my department received a request from the Irish Coursing Club to hold a second day's trial in relation to the three-day national coursing meeting, which was held in Clonmel on the 10th, 11th and 12th of February last. And in granting the request for a second day's trial, my department took into account the fact that the national coursing meeting in Clonmel is the largest coursing meeting held during the season, with some 160 hares run during the three-day meeting. I accept the view that it would not have been possible to complete trials for this number of hares in one day at that time of the year in February due to limited daylight. And in addition, taking account of safety and welfare reasons, it was considered that a second day's trial was needed in order to promote the familiarisation of hares with the field and with the most direct route to the escape. And it's important to stress that until my department issued a revised licence last year, it would have been possible for every single club in the country to hold trials over as many days as they wanted. And Clonmel was the only application that my department received for a second day's trial since the licence to the Irish Coursing Club was amended in October last year, and the current 2017-18 coursing season ended on the 28th of February last.
Thank you, Minister. Deputy Bruin.
I welcome remarks you said about the new and revised conditions, but I don't know if in actual fact the situation that you describe is truly exceptional. But what safeguards are in place, Minister, to ensure that hares are being rested sufficiently, and what reports do you have on hares allegedly being shared among courses due to shortages? I know, for example, that at least 36 hares died at coursing meetings in 2015-16, 36 rather died in 2015-16, 26 died during 2016-17 season, and by the end of 2017, at the start of 2018 season, 13 also had died. So you told me, I think, that the cost of recruiting 25 additional conservation rangers for the National Parks and Wildlife Service would be less than €640,000, and I welcome the fact that 11 rangers were appointed during 2017. But surely, the fact that just 6 hare coursing meetings were monitored during the 2014-15 season is unacceptable. I know that's risen to 17 meetings the following year, and in 2017-18, I think 24 meetings have been monitored. But why is there not, can we not arrive at a situation where all meetings are monitored and where, hares are treated humanely and
Thank
protected?
you, Deputy. Minister, can we conclude on this matter?
Deputy Bruin, that the hares must be treated humanely, and I believe that they need to be monitored also, all of these trials. And in order to familiarise hares with the layout of the coursing field and the location of the escape in advance of coursing meetings, hares in the hare park, in the enclosure where they are kept prior to the start of the coursing meeting, will have access for some time to the coursing field. And in addition, it's normal practice for some coursing clubs to train hares in advance of coursing meetings by holding trials, which are essentially preparation runs for the hares being pursued by 2 dogs along the actual coursing field. And it is my understanding that some 27 coursing events out of some 60 meetings were monitored by officials of my department during the 2017 and 18 season, which ended on the 28th of February this year, including trials. And during the 2016-2017 season, there were a total of 17 coursing events monitored by my department. In relation to regional staff, the regional staff of the National Parks and Wildlife Service of my department attend coursing meetings as resources allow to monitor compliance with the conditions of the licences, and such staff perform a wide variety of functions relating to management of national parks, the conservation of habitats, the protection of protected species and the enforcement of legislation under national and EU law. And delivering on this work is particularly challenging at a time of constrained financial and staffing resources. But within this context, my department prioritises its human resources to these areas of most critical demand.
Deputy McGrath, you had question number 13.